Legends, welcome to Not For Radio. This is...
Coming in hot, just tip of the hat there.
Teagues, why don't you put your hands on your face there? The episode's only starting.
Yeah, shit, calm down.
You didn't need to clap, that's all.
I
It
love
felt
the
like
clap.
because we're in the new studio, maybe you felt like a director out there
Yes.
to make the shark clap.
Wow, that's for
It
those.
made me laugh.
For those of the
Supposed to do that
uninitiated,
before you start.
this will be one of the first episodes going up on YouTube. So, yes, if you're listening to this on whatever platform it is you're listening to, congratulations, great to have you with us. But there is also going to be a visual version of this as well. And I'm doing something right now that only those people that are watching this will know.
Also as well, Jay, there is a really easy way to search for it. You just search Not For Radio on YouTube. It'll pop
Crazy.
up on there. So bloody cool. Caution, this podcast will contain some swearing.
Fuck off.
And plenty on the podcast today. If you've never played the Flaming Arsehole game, we'll give you a rundown on what that is.
What we've come home to, Alexa gone wrong, the bloke that almost got a massive piece of machinery parked on his head.
But, well, it parked on him, so it didn't
Yeah.
end well. Like, wait until you hear the amount of bloody surgeries this poor bloke had to have as well.
We talk about my dad swearing Steve Reeve's thicket.
Also, we have a look at the Middle Ages and why we're glad we don't live in the Middle Ages.
But to start things off, how to deter door knockers.
Enjoy the Oh, some team kit winners. This is Sniper Elite members. Oh, you can take that first one.
Yeah. Maxon Blennerhassett.
Damn, you nailed that. Zach David. And the last one's yours.
Andrew Tennant.
That's pretty easy, that last
Yeah.
one. You guys won team kit, by the way.
Maxon Blennerhassett. Where the fuck are you from? That's a badass name.
That's if you listen to the Sniper Elite episodes, which you can subscribe to by clicking in the show notes, and then you can be in to win some of that team kit as well. Enjoy the potty.
Hey fellas, let's make Jay puke his guts up. This is Not For Radio.
Here at Not For Radio, we love door knockers, do we not, everyone? We love door knockers.
Yeah, I haven't had a door knock for quite some time.
Gee, you wouldn't know which door to knock on down your joint. There's about 300 houses in your locked gated community.
The last time I had my door knocked, I was fucking brutally hungover. It was a miserable day. And Brooke Van Velden, or whatever her name is, the ACT MP, was doing some door knocking ahead of the election. She got me at full flight in my undies, dishevelled. And she's like, do you want to put something on? I was like, I'm in my house. I'll wear whatever the fuck I want. Tell me what it is you've come to tell me.
Did you vote ACT?
Absolutely not.
Okay, not a good spiel then. Well, you could have.
It was great. I said to her, geez, you're keen being out on a miserable day. And she goes, well, on yucky days, people stay at home.
Oh, well, mate.
There's a political insight for you.
There's a little heads up for anybody that wants to go do some door knocking. You could have used this, though.
Hello?
Hi, my name's Laura. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
We're just having bum sex a minute.
Oh my God.
Okay, I couldn't hear all of that, but it's no problem. We'll leave and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye, bye.
Just having bum sex at the moment. Is it illegal, and someone will know this, is it illegal to open the door fully naked in your own house with an erection?
I don't think it would be.
It is on your property.
How's it not illegal for them to come onto your property?
Could you not stand behind the door and say, I'm naked with an erection, you should leave before I open the door? And if they stick around, then clearly there was an invitation that they have picked up.
I feel like it's not a very effective way of recruiting. Like, for example, we put a video on the internet, overnight it's got 1 million views.
Yeah.
It'd take a fucking long time to knock on 1 million doors.
It's because what we're saying is funny and that's boring as shit.
Well, they just need to rehash it. Make it chuck some punchlines in there.
You know what it is though, and I've had this conversation at length with a person who I invited into my house, sat down, cup of tea, fucking chewed 2 hours of their time, asked them every question under the sun about it. And they basically feel like it is their duty that we that are not part of what they are doing are missing out, like fucking mortally missing out. And they love us so much that they don't want us to miss out. Like it's kind of like,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's like letting everybody know that the biggest 2-scoop ice cream you can get is from the Bethlehem Foursquare. Like just like, wow, fucking that's pretty wild shit. I don't know about that. Thanks for telling me. Like that is the sort of message that they think they are spreading around.
That's how I feel about when I spruik air fryers on the radio show. People need to know.
Yeah.
You are missing out.
Well, it's the same with ice baths, you know?
yeah, punishing ice
Do you know
bath. Battler.
you know the benefits of an ice bath? Yeah,
Oh, please.
parasympathetic nervous system, bit of a fucking rattle there. Blah, blah, blah.
It's not
and
very
saunas too.
measurable, though.
What?
The ice bath.
Do you not feel better? You're out of your fucking head if you don't feel better.
Yeah, but that's not that's you just saying it. Like,
But you haven't done enough of them. See, that's the sort of
here we
thing.
go.
This is the sort of, see, once again, hang on.
this is how I got hooked on meth.
Hey, anybody home? Yes. Hey, it's Jay here from the Ice Bath fucking church. Would you like to hear my message? Fuck off, thanks, mate.
Yeah, what? You wanting me to get in an ice bath?
Yeah, this is the chili cult. You want to be a part of the chili cult? Chili morning cult.
All I'm saying is they need to have like a proper study done, because everyone going it feels mint, is not scientific.
Once again, see, this is the thing. I feel like a fucking.
Attacked.
I feel like I feel like a Philistine that I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough in that area. And if you're gonna have an opinion on something, you generally need to have some form of knowledge about it. And I don't feel like I have enough knowledge to probably.
All
take
of
the
it
piss
makes
as much as I
sense
do.
as far as like the stretching your bandwidth and stuff. Like we go around on.
I'm talking about fucking religious door knockers here.
I was talking about meth.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to the ice bath.
Hang on, just circle back to the meth. I wonder what your catchment rate would be if you were to go around spruiking illegal substances.
Yeah, probably quite good.
Yeah.
Especially if you're slinging them out for free. Isn't that how they get you? One free bag and then your life's ruined?
Yeah, I don't know. Haven't been down that track. I've always paid, you know. Kidding. Never done meth.
I got sent through this last night, and I actually haven't read it, but I'm going to read it. It's disturbing facts about the Middle Ages, or just data. No hygiene, no comfort. In the Middle Ages, there were no toothbrushes, perfumes, deodorants, or toilet paper. People rarely bathed, as running water was nearly non-existent and winters were cold. Only nobles had lackeys to fan them, not because of the heat, but to dispel the body odour and scare away the bugs. Oh. The saying on the floor comes from people passing out from tin poisoning, making them appear dead. Why weddings in June? Most weddings took place in June because the annual bath was taken in May. By June, the smell was still tolerable. To cover the remaining odour, brides carried bouquets of flower. This practice is where the tradition of the bridal bouquet originated.
And then you throw it to the person who's going to be the least smelliest out of all of the chicks, so you're probably more than likely to be the one that gets married next.
Why don't they do the weddings in May? Maybe that's when all the royals get married.
Yeah. Why don't they just fucking shower more?
Bathing, because they didn't have showers.
Why don't you fucking invent one? They had water ducts that they built across bridges.
Oh, you dumb fucks back in time. Go back and invent one.
Yeah. Look at that. They had big bathing pools where they'd all swim around and nibble on each other's bits, but they couldn't fucking make a shower. Come on, mate. You shit out the side of a castle.
I don't.
Fuck.
We did a deep dive on that once, didn't we?
We did.
Okay, here we go. Bathing practices. Baths were a family event done in a single large tub filled with hot water. The head of the family bathed first, followed by the others in the household, ending with the babies. By the time the babies were bathed, the water was so dirty that the expression "don't throw the baby out with the bath water" was born.
Mate. Yes. So this, I mean, not even that recent times.
Don't throw the baby out with the bath water also implies you haven't been keeping an eye on the baby and it's underwater and you
fucking
can't see
underwater.
it.
I reckon if the
babies don't breathe underwater.
if the baby is under the bathwater, probably do want to throw it out. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
My mum, when she first went to the UK as part of the great pilgrimage that all New Zealanders do as their OE, that she was staying in your classic 2-bedroom London flat with 36 Kiwis living in there, and they would
How's that legal, eh?
It's fucking highly legal. That's why we did it. They did it. That's why we travel as a mob, and you let one in, there's fucking 30 behind us.
Did anybody else just notice Jay Chuck in a wee when he's clearly a fucking hotel guy? He ain't staying in a dingy flat, dog.
I went and visited my sister, and she had one in Clapham, and that was a flat and a half.
Spot.
Real good spot. She had a good job. She worked at Google. It was sweet. Anyway, but my mum, when they would have their baths, were the exact same thing. So the person who had the lease, the head tenant, they would go first. They'd run fucking one bath, and it was daily, admittedly. But she was like, by the time you hopped in, it was like you're fucking getting into human soup, and there would be a film across the top. Because this is like, Most of the Kiwi lads were tradies or worked in hospo, so they'd just be sweating out piss or fucking curry peas and fucking chips. And she said it was grim because she was the last to join the flat. She was the last one into the bath.
I would have
and
joined
then when
a
people
sports
moved,
team.
yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah, 3 times a week you probably shower then.
Yeah, she's like, but people didn't go to the gym then, like back in the fucking 60s and 70s.
Probably didn't train either. You probably
Nah,
just
you just
put the pack of darts back in your pocket and ran onto the paddock.
yeah. That was what the All Blacks did.
Yeah.
I saw a thing like a great TV show, Landman. Holy fuck! Can we just slightly digress onto that for 2 seconds?
I'm down for it.
While we're middle aging it. So they go. This dude was having like Pop-Tarts for breakfast or something. And he goes, that sugary shit's going to kill you. He goes, coming from a guy that smokes 2 packs a day. And he goes, you know where they smoke? You know where they smoke? Japan. Those motherfuckers, all of them smoking. You see an 86-year-old guy punching a fucking pack of darts and then doing Tai Chi for 3 hours, and they live to 105. Same in China, in Italy, all they do, smoke, eat pasta, and fuck, and they live for ages. It's a sugary shit you're eating that's killing you. Nothing to do with the darts. And I was like, fucking say it from the fuck's in the back in here. Anywho, back to the Middle Ages.
Yes. Living conditions. Houses had no ceilings and wooden beams supported the roofs. These beams were warm shelters for animals like cats, dogs, rats, and cockroaches. Rain would drive these creatures to the ground, landing on people's homes. Dangerous dining. The wealthy used to use tin plates, but acidic foods like tomatoes reacted with the tin, causing poisoning. Tomatoes were long thought to be deadly. People drinking from the tin cups, particularly beer or whiskey, could pass out from the toxic combination of alcohol and tin. We say it all the time, having a few tins. These individuals were laid out as if they were dead, leading to wakes where families watched the body to see if the person would wake up, which is how we have the term wake. The term wake came to be. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you hang around just to see if they
they're
actually
going
are.
to wake up.
Yeah, so you just go, I think they're dead. Funeral kind of procession happens, and then you stand around having fucking sandwiches and more tins of piss, and then
Just waving the asparagus roly-poly in front of their nostrils, being like, this will fucking get him, he loves these.
he loves a bit of asparagus.
We fucking air-fried lasagna topper under Dunc's nose will bring him back from the dead any day of the week. Saved by the Bell. England often reused graves due to space constraints. Where coffins were reopened, scratch marks were sometimes found inside the lids, proving that some people had been buried alive. To prevent this, a string was tied to the wrist of the deceased, leading to a bell above the ground. If the person woke up, they would ring the bell to be rescued, and this is where the saying "Saved by the Bell" originates.
Yeah, I was aware of that. But also they didn't used to flood them out with formaldehyde, so they would... When you had rigor mortis, the arms would come across and then scratch down the top as the muscles tightened. Oh. So that's why when they dug people up, they thought that people were trying to get out, but it was just...
That's a quick burial.
From
rigor mortis only sets in for 18 hours or something, doesn't it?
I don't know. Probably fucking didn't want them around. They stunk bad enough as it was when they were alive, let alone when they're dead.
Yeah. The worst bit about him dying is he's going to smell even worse.
Yeah. I still can't get over that. Like, if you think about sexual acts... And if
they wouldn't have, 2 of those wouldn't have existed back then,
mate,
unless you live close to a river.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of aqua fucking, I reckon, because it's the only way to get past it. Also, there is a modern day term of like disco fanny and disco dick when you've just been hitting the tiles, thumping piss and fingers for 12 hours straight, and it's just like morning breath but downstairs. There's like, if you would ever, and everybody, particularly in the UK, go to those big warehouse like raves in like the 90s and early 2000s, and people are fucking sweating up a storm. And you would generally, as courtesy, even if you just met the person for the first time, at least start fucking in the shower, you know, like just to tidy yourself up. But back in the day, like imagine peeling some bird or some fella out of their kit and going to climb in, and it just smells like fucking roadkill.
You just do it on the dance floor, then your nostrils have already adjusted. Like if you leave, get some fresh air, and then go to the bedroom and be like, "Poor, you stink."
Maybe that's how doggy style originated, because you're far enough away. Yeah, and they're like, maybe that's why fucking animals do it like this, because they don't wash either.
Yeah, maybe.
Once again,
there's a lot of maybes on today's podcast. Have a go at this.
We're hardly fucking hard-hitting facts, are we? It's not 60 minutes.
I don't think we've ever claimed this to be a news podcast, so
We
one's
do
gonna-
half the time and half the truth.
that's quite good. That's
Yeah.
a good name for our next podcast. We'll do a 15-minute podcast.
Just absolute cod shit.
Yeah. Fanning in movies and period films, you'd often see people shaking or fanning themselves. I've seen this. It's not the heat that they're battling, but the foul odours emanating from under the skirts of unwashed bodies. Skirts were deliberately designed to trap odours from private parts due to the lack of hygiene. You ever see them in a mini skirt on those movies? Always to the ground.
And they would be running a thicket down there as well. And with fucking no toilet paper, it just would have been a.
Isn't that funny?
You'd have to crutch them like sheep, I reckon. It'd be the shittiest dags running all over everyone.
No, speaking of thickets, Jay's old man.
Well, this is just lovely. Not for radio.
Swearing Steve Reeve, he'd be running a thicket. You can even see it popping like a little afro. What's that little fucker, the guy that was on the Air New Zealand video? He's also he's a jazzercise aerobics guy. Richard Simmons. Is it Richard Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon the old boy's running one of those. He loves a speedo, swearing Steve Reeve. Puffs out, fills it out.
It'd be weird if our old boys wore board shorts.
Oh, the old boy does every now and again. And it's almost fucking weird because he runs like a 3/4, like a shant. Like a long board short.
Does he own cargo pants?
Hey, fucking A, of course he does. He'll
he's
cargo
back in-
shorts.
yeah, back in
But
fashion.
Admittedly, he would probably be running a Leatherman on a belt with a phone holster, and then in the pockets he'd have some number 8 wire, a set of pliers, a screwdriver double header, a set of Allen keys, and I don't know, a flint and a light or something.
Does your old man have any hobbies?
No, he doesn't.
It's so odd to get to that age and not figure out something you like to do recreationally.
Yeah. Guess the old girl fits into that category.
He does have one. It's called his wife.
Oh, no, they like, this is what my parents do. This is an insight into my parents, and they'll love me talking about this. And by love, I mean they'll fucking hate it. But
Good, because this is a public episode.
yeah, so mum and dad's idea of fun. So they get up, they've got a very, very, very regimented routine. So they go to bed around about 9 o'clock. Dad's narcoleptic, so the second he stops moving, he falls asleep. Basically, it's one of the greatest things ever. His whole face just dissolves into just a ball of skin and loose muscle, and he just starts snoring. So if he sits on the couch to watch something, 20 seconds max, he's fucking out like a light.
He's never seen past the opening credits of a TV
No,
show.
he knows the intro song, and that's it of every show ever.
Country Calendar. Should I
Yeah.
love that band?
Yeah. They should fucking come up with some new songs, though. Anyway, so they will generally go to sleep quite early, and then at about 4:30, they'll wake up. They don't sleep with curtains in their room, so they're fully wide open. So they're basically working with the sun, trying to get closer to that, I guess. And then fucking first brew of the day goes down 4:30. The old boy's straight into it. Fucking breakfast in bed, kind of cup of coffee. Then he'll have his weird concoction of like sort of birch and muesli soaked with all his fucking weird concoctions that he puts into it. Sprinklings of all sorts. I don't know. Eye of newt, fucking toe of rat sort of stuff. And then they go and climb the mount. And they're one of the...
Every day?
Every single day. Wow. Without fail. Or they'll walk the length of the beach to the mount, which would be like 6-7 Ks. And they'll, on the way up the mount, because walking...
Hang on. So they're doing like 14K a day.
So they'll walk down, they'll either ride their bikes to the mount, which is 6 Ks, or they will walk to the mount along the beach and then walk back and not climb the mount that day.
So 12, 14Ks a day
Yep.
if they're walking.
Easy.
Like along the beach.
Easy.
Wow.
And then on the way up the mount, because they grew up in the rural setting, they hate with a vengeance noxious weeds that spread. So they weed the mount track as they climb it, ripping out the weeds, putting them in the gutter, or collecting them and then dumping them somewhere so they can be picked
That's
up.
their hobby.
Yeah,
You found
weeding
that.
the mount.
Sex and weeding. So they do have one.
Yeah.
My old man's such a battler. I was on the blower to Mum yesterday.
He's got heaps of hobbies.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying, you know how old men are like stubborn and just stuck in their ways, and you can't. They don't want to learn new tricks. They
Can't
are.
imagine
who they
I'll
are.
ever arrive there.
You're already there. And so I was talking to Mum, and she's like, "Oh, Mum and Dad's property's down the end of a long driveway. You've been there, right? There's that gardens on both sides of the
Yes.
driveway all the way down there, and they can't stand driving past the messy garden. So it's fucking what's that like 300-meter long garden?
300 metre long garden to basically a consular-led house, which is like, I can imagine the subdivision in which it's like a gated community setup that they're in now, but that would have once upon a time been the fucking plush grounds of this consulate house in which they live beside, and it is fucking majestic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It would have been one of the original big homesteads of Canterbury.
I would say so.
Yeah.
With the size that it is, it's it's got stables and stuff still.
Yeah, it's good.
In the middle of the city.
In the middle of the city, and like fucking 300-year-old redwoods growing on the driveway or something. Like, it's a big bit of kit.
Anyway, so he's been out there and he's been getting stuck into it because not long been back in New Zealand after being in Australia for 6 months, and so he's battling away to weed the whole thing, and he's been down on his knees for 2 or 3 days weeding, and he comes inside, his knees blown up real big. Mum's like, "Oof, what have you done there?" He's like, "Yeah, no, it's bloody fluid getting collected." Anyway, so he goes off to, weirdly went and saw his chiropractor to see what was wrong with his blown up knee.
Yeah, when you've got a problem with your knee, go to your back doctor.
Yeah, and he had, I think it's called bursitis.
Yeah,
which is like fluid in and around the joint or whatever.
Yeah, so there's around each joint is a bursa, and then that fills with fluid. So you can get it on any joint.
Yeah, so that's happened, and I'm like, oh, well, he'll be enjoying a couple of days on the couch. That'll be absolutely punishing for him. He's like, oh, no, he's back out there today. I was like, why? And she's like, oh, no, he can stand. Mum's like backing him up. So it's like such a battle.
She's an enabler.
Yeah, she is. She is. So he did another. So that happened on, say it was a Sunday. Monday, back out there for 7 hours on his feet weeding.
What? This has been a question that I've pondered for quite some time, the length of time that I've known you and your parents. What the fuck is your mum up to when your dad's riding for 30 hours a week?
Enjoying peace and quiet. And Dad's not in the house talking about cycling and the next trip he's going to do. Probably the first 3.5 hours of he is recovering from the ringing, the non-stop chat.
the ringing from Rene.
The Rene ring. I'm going to do a quick war story for you now.
Yes.
Where are we? Oh, yes, over here. Good. This is quite a short but hectic. Sheldon Bailey. Thanks, mate. Good to have you on the podcast. I was serving in Afghanistan and I was involved in an IED strike. I got away with minor injuries and stayed in Afghanistan. 5 days later, I was under the vehicle repairing it from the IED damage, and when someone, a lad that was trying to cover his ass after saying he did a job when he clearly didn't do the job, jumped into the vehicle. He had no license for the vehicle and was not allowed to drive it. And he drove off, crushing both of my legs and ripping my left shoulder out of my body.
Oh my fucking God.
Trashing the nerves in my neck. The bugger ran away and left me there.
That's so fucking gnarly. Especially because, like, to get away from a roadside bomb or like an IED, to get away with your life then, only to be fucked by one of your own who's just been a miserable prick.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Damn.
The next bit goes on to say, he went straight to the MPs and put himself into protective custody as he was scared of the other Royal Marine Commandos getting a hold of him. 30 procedures later, including 6 brain surgeries, 6 spinal surgeries, and having my left wrist rebuilt, I'm still bedbound 3 days a week and in constant extreme pain.
Wow.
Still up on my better days, making the most of the good time and building all the crazy things that I can imagine. All things considered, I actually got off pretty lightly as it was going to crush my head. Can't park there, mate. That's the vehicle that crushed me. Oh, fuck, it's like a tank.
Yeah, they're massive.
Have a go.
Oh, Jesus, it is. It's on tracks.
Yeah.
It's like a troop carrier on tracks.
Do I zoom that up for the camera there?
Oh, my God.
Yep.
That is fucking wild.
There you go. Well, that's probably one of the worst things. What would be worse? Maybe one of the road roller from Roadworks. That wouldn't be a fun time.
A real pancaker. And good on you for having that mindset.
Yeah, hard out.
Me, being in constant pain, like chronic pain is just the worst. The worst. Particularly at no fault of your own as well. Like you're trying to repair something so that other people, when they are out in it, are safe. And he jumped in and fucked you.
I was watching, there was a clip that popped up in my feed this morning off the Joe Rogan podcast, and it was some absolute fucking psychopath, top 0.1% US Marine. And he was basically, he goes, as I've learned over the years, my superpower is just being the guy that gets shit done. And he did over 150 solo missions in Afghanistan and Iraq. And he was like, I fucking loved it because I didn't need to rely on anybody else. Well, tell me what you'd rather. And he's like, if you want to back yourself and know the skill set you've got and put yourself in a position where you know you can fucking win and anybody within a 35-meter radius dies every time you go out. I was like, whoa. Or would you rather go and try and do that mission with about another 20 guys behind you and you know what they're fucking made of? I know what I'm made of and I fucking win every time and I love it. I was like, whoa, this guy. Yeah. Some people are just built differently, eh?
Totally. That was the guys that were hanging out with at Sail GP. Like he, in his time off, does safety for Sail GP. The rest of the time he's in Iraq doing personal protection. He's been doing it for 16 years. Like that's just a wild setup. Absolutely wild setup.
You're good at your job if you last that long.
Yeah, and I said to him, how hectic is it now? And he was like, there was kind of, when Saddam got sort of overthrown and sort of taken out, there's this big power vacuum and then everyone else kind of moves in and they're like, well, we're taking the country in this direction, we're taking it in that direction and we're doing this. But he's kind of in the oil and gas part. So he sort of looks after sort of armoured, car convoys and that sort of stuff for those people of note going to places and businesses and to fields and all that sort of stuff. He's in charge of all that shit. And he goes, I've pretty much got an entirely Iraqi team. Like they're just, like it started off as all expats and now he's just there. And I was like, do you
how much wheat do you reckon to be making? Millions.
Oh, fucking, he's in good coin.
Yeah, you would want to.
And then I was like, sweet. So in your time off when you could be doing fucking nothing, then you go and throw yourself in. Like he's created, well, they have created their team because he's basically built it. So all the safety team on Sail GP are predominantly ex-military or Navy divers that have an interest in sailing or hanging out with sailors because they're fucking good times. Like out of all the sports, man, I reckon that, like, you know how people go, oh, yeah, fucking rugby players love their piss and leagueies love their piss and like everyone loves their piss in sport. No one loves piss like sailors. Like they are fucking one step up the evolutionary ladder to fucking peg leg Pete and fucking Blackbeard Joe like pirates. They just drink so much
Captain
rum.
Jack Sparrow, Pete Burley, Ben Ainsley.
It fucking does. And they're so good at it too.
Did somebody say Max chickens? Not for radio.
We've got a joke here. Apparently this absolutely buckled someone. I think it might have been Wesley Lee that found this one.
Dada, play ticker. Dada, play ticker.
Bobby, can you talk to play wheels?
You want to hear a station for porn detected? Porno ringtone, hot chick, amateur girl, calling sexy. No. Pussy anal dildo ring.
Oh my gosh, it escalated. I like how I pushed the wrong button.
Was that the joke?
No. I think there's a bit we had down a bit later. Alex gone wrong with a child. That sounds like it might be it.
Yeah, that is it. That is it.
Try again.
Gets home, tells wife, get me a beer before it starts. He drinks it and then says, quick, get me another before it starts. Again, she gets a drink for him and he says, another before it starts. She says, listen here, you lazy fat cunt. You walk in, sit down and start barking orders. He says, F me, it started. Savage.
Oh, shit. Do you hear that? Like, are you in a relationship like that? Hang on, we should ask. Showboss Teagues is in the mixer too. But we'll start with you, Dunc. Are you in a relationship where you kind of, I think of this as like Al Bundy and whatever that show was that he was on, what's it called? He basically sits down, Love and Marriage or whatever it was.
Yes.
Sits down and his kids come and grab $10 off him and then his missus comes in and gives him a beer and fucking, TV dinner, that sort of stuff.
Hadn't he been working at a shoe shop all day too, which made it even fucking funnier?
Yeah.
It's not like he'd been out slaving.
Are you in that sort of a relationship where you get home and Dixie, your wife, or your kids go, hey, Dad, I know you've had a hard day. Here's a beer. Sit down. Fucking foot rubs. What show do you want to watch? Hey, kids, a little bit of quiet time. Dad needs a little bit of a break here.
Nah, I think you know the answer to that. I kind of like when I'm riding home on my Harley.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face.
I actually feel like I'm a first responder.
That you're just turning up to pure chaos,
I was like,
and you need to.
I'm at DEFCON. It's at DEFCON 10 inside. I'm going straight into ground zero, like when, the bomb's just gone off and everyone's ears are ringing. I'm like trying to make sense of it all and get the people that are most injured. Get the ones that are bleeding bad.
Leave me, Dad. Murray's just shit on the wall. Okay, I'll be back for you.
Murray, is it a good painting though?
Yeah. Where's Mum? She's buried under a pile of all of our other shit that we've just broken.
It's so funny, because it doesn't really. I mean, it does get easier, but it's funny that you feel the same at the end of every day, regardless of if it's a good day with your kids or it's a full-on day or a bad day. You're just as fucked anyway.
Yeah.
Like you're just as tired. Kids go down, we're like, I could go to bed. Then you put the TV on, then it's like 2 hours later and you're like, should have gone to bed when they went to bed.
Teagues, you strike me as the sort of person that is a real, active service as your love language,
Oh, Jaden would 100% do it for you. Yeah. Why is that not on? Can we get that mic turned on?
Yeah. I can imagine that when you get home, literally you hop out of the car and a fucking red carpet goes and just unravels towards you and you're like, didn't go all the way to the car edge. I don't know if that's my parking. Probably more to do with the carpet length there. That's the first strike.
Where's Jaden at when he's had like a great, when he's bought his A game for when you've come home?
Well, Jaden always has dinner ready for me when I get home. Wow. But that's partly because of how late we finish.
And
usually,
he doesn't like your cooking.
I'm not good at. He's the chef. I don't like cooking. I just don't enjoy cooking, really. It's rare if I have a good time doing it.
What are his kind of signature dishes?
Good for you, too. Jay will be like, what the hell? But, that's awesome, a trait to have because, not really been into cooking because you know that if you're with a partner, Anna, this is the same thing.
Well, no, Anna cooks most of the meals.
Oh, does she?
Because I'm home late as well. So I'm eating, I love to cook. I love it. But I'm just never, and I've quite happily cooked for myself if her and the kids have already had something to eat. But if I get home 7:30, 8 o'clock or whatever it is, that's fucking starting to blow things out to get them fucked off to bed early enough,
How nice knowing that you're not going to need to worry about what you're having for dinner for the rest of your life. That's fucking one of life's hardest things, waking up and going, Christ, what are we eating today?
I remember that's like Mum, because my mum hated cooking. She was purely food as fuel. And so we would sit down in the morning, smash fucking big bowl of Wheat Bix or porridge or whatever it was we're having, and then because we go, Mum, what's for breakfast? What's for breakfast? What's for breakfast? And she'd be like, fucking get this in you miserable little bastards, and we'd smash it. And then as soon as we'd finish that, we're like, Mum, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? What's for dinner? And that's 365 decisions need to be made every year by that person in that house.
What's more, when you've got young kids, they end up having 2 or 3 dinners. They have the first dinner and then the other things. Anyway, back to you, Teagues.
Well, we do decide what we're going to have each week together, and we'll do our whole grocery shop together on the weekend for the following week.
Do you meal prep?
We do. And we'll basically cook as though we've got a family, just that we'll have leftovers the following night. So that way Jaden or myself, if he's not in town or whatever, you only really have to cook once every few days. Also, when you're flatting, you kind of want to be doing that as well. If you know that we've got one other flatmate, but if he's in the kitchen, you don't want to be like, oh gosh, I'm starving. Hurry up, respectfully.
Yeah. So for those people that don't know, Jaden is in an all New Zealand male strip troupe, so he spends quite a lot of time travelling around the country taking his clothes off at hens dudes.
He's a tile layer, and sometimes he travels.
That's what they call
jobs.
it.
That's the boss on this business card.
Hold on, if he did that for work, then he'd be he'd be leaving work as I get home. He'd be leaving for work.
He's in demand. They like him, so they just get it. They pay for the off time.
He cooks dinner for you and then heads out with a full tummy.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about trying to pitch extremely complex meals for him? Since he's a yes man. Going, I wouldn't mind a beef Wellington on Wednesday.
No, he's the one who goes, I'm going to try this. And I look at it and I go, that looks really complicated. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, good luck. I'll be home extra late so it can just be served up when I get home.
What is it? And is he are you a glass of wine or?
No, hate wine.
That's right. You're a bourbon and Coke girl,
wine. Yeah, sometimes we have a bourbon and Coke. I try not to drink during the week, but we've been doing that recently. We actually just realised how many bottles we had, and now we're kind of desperately trying to get through them. Not desperately, but they're just taking up room.
Sounds pretty desperate to me.
It's just we 6 bottles of bourbon unopened.
Just can't imagine you sitting down and just going, my favourite quesadillas and a pre-mixed bourbon can. Just thumbing.
Oh, one of my mates.
We've done that.
One of my mates, Carl, at New Year's. He's not like that all year round. But he would wake up, and I'd be like, because we did a lot of day drinking over the summer break, right? And for me, I'm like, it's hot at 10:30, so I could easily have a beer at 10:30 in the morning. And then
So why wouldn't you?
Most days I would.
Yeah.
But
so Bert Kreischer absolutely nails it. He's like, I love drinking. It's like the first one on the day that you have when someone says, "Hey, Dunc, do you want to have a bourbon?" You go, "Yeah, sweet, having a bourbon." Do you want to start the day with a fucking like a high noon? Do you want to start the day with a Powers? Do you want to start the day with a fucking beer? Hey, it's beer o'clock. You're like, yes, sweet, cheersing. Like all that stuff.
The unexpected massive day drinking session that goes out of control. We'll play that tomorrow on the podcast. It's one of the greatest rants ever. But I would quite happily have one at 10:30 in the morning because no shit, I'll get out of my tent in the morning and Carl would already be up punching a lung buster and having a bourbon and coke at 7:30 in the morning.
That's my kind of man.
And I'll be like, fuck, you are a machine. But he wouldn't drink heavily. It'd just be like an always on sort of thing. But it's not like he even went to bed drunk, I don't think, once. But he's just like, well, I'm on holiday. I work all year to do this. This is epic. So,
and admittedly, like some people get up in the morning, have a coffee. If you're getting up and smacking a pre-mixed bourbon can,
who's happier?
Yeah, and like it's not fucking illegal. It's frowned upon, but it's not illegal.
I think we thought of another. There was another place. The places that you can drink. Obviously, the airport's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Christmas Day. There's Christmas Day and the airport. The only two we could come up with where it doesn't matter what time of day it is. You can just thump piss and no one looks at you sideways.
Yeah.
You got to embrace those days.
There is a knowing nod. As part of our jobs, we fly and have for years. And basically, there is a knowing nod when you're getting on like a 6 o'clock flight and you get into the lounge at 5 o'clock or whatever it is, and you walk up to the fridge and it's unlocked because fucking we're shaka bra. And there's another person that comes in beside you and grabs a tube at the same time. You're like, cheers, mate. It's like 5:30 in the morning. And it's either you've pushed through from the night before and you just wanted to bring the plane down before you take off, or you're fucking starting something. The holiday begins now. Boom. First fucking tin of the trip. We're on.
One of the absolute best ones. Got to finish on this today.
Rugby players, generally when they go out, we will play what most people will call stupid games. One of the games is called Flaming Arsehole, which is where you take your trousers off and your pants. You sort of stand someone up on a stool or a box or something and you take a length of toilet paper from their arsehole and then you get it down to the ground. And then you give them a pint of something and you set fire to the toilet paper. And then they've got to finish the pint before they can take the toilet paper out of their arsehole. Oh, my God! What I thought was fun is I would measure it out to the floor, but the moment they'd turn round, I'd rip half of it off and set fire to that. And I regret nothing.
Have you ever played it?
Nah.
Oh, it's the fucking greatest. The best is if you've got someone that's a real hairy bastard and then it catches onto their leg hairs, burns right up over their balls and arsehole as well. It just goes like a full forest fire.
Bushfire.
Fucking full Malibu setup. Just thanks, mate. Palisade's gone.
On that note, hey, thanks for listening. It's
You
bloody
will
great.
get burnt though. You'll get blisters and it fucking hurts.
I remind you can subscribe to Not For Radio wherever you get your podcast. The link is in the show notes there. Less than the price of beer. Month and
we actually let a very, 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 very big cat out of the bag yesterday in one of the Sniper Elite episodes about something that everyone wants to get their hands on. We've been getting fucking peppered about it, and all the details are in that. So
also on yesterday's episode as well, Jay, I reveal after some detective work at Luke Combs, Jay's nickname, which none of us knew, which apparently a lot of people called him. From his old rugby playing days.
The greatest game of Flaming Arseholes we ever played was at Timmy O'Brien's house that we talked about, and Jake was there for that game.
Yeah, well, they get special mentions on yesterday's podcast as well. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you for choosing us and taking time out of your day. You're an absolute weapon. We bloody love you, and we'll catch you tomorrow.